Today in TLC Live, Marc LaHood, candidate for Bexar County District Attorney. His platform, issues and challenges running for that important position. Also, Texas Latino Conservatives is expanding. TLCP, Texas Latino Conservative Pastors, and we are honored to lead that department, Pastor Luis Cabrera. He will be with us talking about TLCP. And if you are eligible to become a U.S. citizen, stay tuned for 4 upcoming free citizenship classes organized by the Republican National Committee. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to TLC Live. I'm Andrea Gomez.
And I'm Orlando Sanchez, and this woman is just full of information.
Good morning, Orlando. We have an exciting show, and of course, good news about Texas Latino Conservatives expanding. Now we're going to have a new department, and it's going to be led by Pastor Luis Cabrera, who is being not only on our show, but he is being a headline national news because he's one of the spiritual mentor for the U.S. Congresswoman Mayra Flores.
In addition to that, he has very close relations with Cassie Garcia and Monica de la Cruz down in the Rio Grande Valley. The three very capable, very powerful Latinas, which are leading the charge in South Texas and converting thousands upon thousands of Latinos that have historically voted for the Democratic candidates, now leading the charge to move into the Republican column. This will be a historic race. All indications indicate that Hispanics are fleeing the Democratic Party. They're fed up with their cost of living. Their financial futures are insecure. Defunding the police, open borders, their resources being used to take care of undocumented aliens crossing the border by 250,000 per month. And so people have had enough and said, Hispanics are, why not? You know, and there's a good effort by the Republicans in Texas, our candidates, to reach out to the community. So, but you mentioned Pastor Luis Cabrera. And let me tell you why this is important. The left is trying to diminish the voice of the church, whatever that church is. It can be a Islamic, side. It could be a synagogue. It can be a Catholic church. It can be a Protestant church. It can be the Latter-day Saints. Anything that's related to the spiritual founding of our country and the spiritual nature of our country, the left is trying to squelch that so that people don't talk about it. And they're bringing in their ideas of what the country should be, right? You can choose your sex or you can choose your pronoun. The church, and when I say the church, spiritual leaders in this country and in this state have a voice. And they have a voice in civic activities. And for us to back down and not talk about our values, as Christians, as Jews, as Muslims, as even non-believers that have good values, is a deterioration of what this country is all about. And so we believe that putting our Hispanic pastors together, along with other pastors across the state of Texas, is an important endeavor. And so we have challenged and tasked Pastor Luis Cabrera with the task of organizing Texas Hispanic pastors. And Luis, no pressure, but I hope it's going to work out.
Okay, I know we will. So we're going to talk to him after we talk to our candidate in Bexar County. He is Marc LaHood. He's a candidate for Bexar County District Attorney. He's been here with us in TLC Live before, talking about his issues, his platform, and the challenges that he is facing running for this position, and also why he's running for this position. We have elections around the corner, and also the registration to vote is October 11th as the deadline. So that's why we're having him today, because that position is very, very important in that county. And he is not only experienced, but well prepared. And he is here with us, and he is very conservative, and he is part of the family of Texas Latino Conservatives.
And you say Bexar, And for those our English speakers,
Is Bejar?
we call it Bexar County. That's San Antonio. So for our viewers in San Antonio, Bejar is Bexar County. And aside from our excellent candidate that we have on the program today, Mark, you are being joined on the ballot by some other great candidates, not to mention, not the least of which is Kyle Sinclair running for Congress against one of the Castro brothers, who I think has been in office for a decade and never has passed a bill in the U.S. Congress. We have County Judge DeBerry, or candidate for County Judge DeBerry, I believe is her last name. And we have John Lujan on the ballot. And so we have some really good stuff happening in Bexar County. Welcome to the program, Mark.
Thank y'all. Good morning. Nice to see y'all again. Thank you for having me on.
So, Mark, tell us. You've been with us here before in the show. Tell us about the efforts that you're making right now. Last minute efforts, because elections day is around the corner. And since we have you last time here in the show, what you been doing for the campaign? What is the feedback from the community for your position?
So, the game plan hasn't changed from day one. We've been focusing on a countywide approach. And this race is important. Like, you already hit the nail on the head. It's important for a couple of reasons. One, because the DA is the chief law enforcement officer. It's the conscience of the county. And the office picks and chooses. It shouldn't pick and choose, but it can pick and choose what law enforce and how to bring it. And so right now, the last 3 years, we've seen countywide crime not only escalate and go through the roof, but even scarier than that, criminals aren't being held accountable. And so one of the big concerns we've heard from people across the county is public safety, holding people accountable, getting justice for victims. And that value or, ideology of actions have consequences, we have to have accountability, is crossing party lines. I mean, we are talking to Democrats, independents, and it's surprisingly nice just how many are saying they support us and coming out to vote. I mean, we're opening minds and eyes in this race.
Well, it doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or Republican, independent. Everybody wants a safe neighborhood. Everybody wants their child and their family to be protected and their neighbors to be protected. We're having the same problem in Harris County, where we have criminal state district court judges and county court judges that are running amok on this bail reform. They've gone way beyond what was originally called for in the cause of action in federal court, as you know. And, it's just typical of urban liberal leadership in every city across America led by the liberal left. Crime is out of control. And people want safety. They want law and order. And they want those that commit heinous crimes to be punished according to the penal code established by the people of the state of Texas.
Held accountable. I mean, gotten real bad when people are scared just to go to HEB. If you can't do your normal activities, if you can't spend the time with your family, that's the number one thing that controls all of us, right? I mean, we all want our children to be safe. We know that when we leave this world and our children and our grandchildren are here, we want to make sure that they're as safe as can be as possible. And God forbid, when something happens, we're going to hold those people accountable. And so they're responding to that. They're fed up. They're tired. This bail reform stuff you're talking about is 100% right. Top has gotten involved in this race, and they've bonded. They spent about $1 million bonding people out. 2/3 of them reoffend after they get them out. About a third don't even show up, and most of them have been repeat offenders. Violent crime, family violence. I mean, it's insane.
Mark, tell us about your plan once hopefully you win these elections in November 8th.
So, first and foremost, I don't know if y'all know, but right now, Bexar County is on the verge of teetering, going under criminal justice system wise. We're about 8,000 plus officially on the backlog, and that means that justice hasn't been done. Those cases haven't been handled. They're lingering. These families need answers, but the real number is higher than that. When you take into account that the DA stopped prosecuting, less than a gram heroin, crack cocaine, fentanyl, criminal trespass, mischief, theft, graffiti. There's so many thousands and thousands of cases. They're just rejecting. And so the only way we can tackle that is, one, we have to get the machine back on track, working efficiently. That means working with law enforcement. We've already started that. We've been endorsed by both Bexar County Sheriffs, SAPD, CLEAT, which is a statewide association, and adult probation. So every law enforcement, either agency or department in Bexar County, has gotten behind it. We have to get back to enforcing the laws that are on the books, not picking and choosing, not bringing politics into our justice system, and focusing on holding people accountable to get justice. And the way we do that is with leadership, mentorship, and then we have to empower our prosecutors. Right now, they're scared to act. They're scared to do what needs to be done because they're afraid of the backlash. And I'm sorry, but we don't do criminal justice worry about the backlash. We need to do what's right to protect our community.
Mark, first of all, let me just say your connection's cutting in and out, so we'll just spend a few more minutes with you. That's okay. That's just technology. Everybody's fascinated about this political realignment that's occurring with Hispanics in Texas. Hispanics now make up the largest, the plurality of the population of the state of Texas. We are predicted to be the largest minority voting bloc in the United States. We will surpass the African American vote. And the demographics indicate that the African American community, in terms of growth for the future, is pretty flat. There's no growth there. The Caucasian community, and I hate to use these terms, but that's just the way it is also declining. So the Hispanic population is really growing, and it's going to have more of a say in American politics than we have had in the past. So tell us what you're seeing on the ground. Are Latinos, are Hispanics, are Tejanos, whatever they want to be called, Chicanos, Mexicanos, whatever, in Bexar County, really paying attention to the message of conservatism, and are they giving us a look and giving us an opportunity? Do you get that sense on the ground?
Without a doubt, we have been for north side, south side, west side, and east side. And what we're seeing and what we're hearing is they still, identify as Democrat, but they're saying that the party has left them. Our values haven't changed, right? I mean, as Hispanics, we're typically raised to love God. We love our country, hard work, law and order, actions and consequences, punishment, accountability. These are our core conservative principles that everyone else is abandoning, but the Republican Party conservative values is still promoting it and supporting it. And so without a doubt, their eyes are starting to open. We've seen a high number of people that are voting for us and supporting us. It's surprising. It's exciting. And I only anticipate that growing as the messaging continues to get out there.
Awesome. Well, look, we're so proud of you. We are delighted that you were the Republican nominee for District Attorney in Bexar County.
Bueno, en español es el condado Bexar, así que está bien, lo podemos
Pero
decir en
estamos
inglés,
hablando en inglés
español.
ahora, así que no importa, para que los que no hablan español entiendan que Bexar es Bexar. Anyway, Mark, we know you're busy. We know you have to hit the streets again and convert voters and turn out voters, so we wish you Godspeed, all the best to you and your family. Keep up the fight. We're down to the wire. And we'll probably have you back before Election Day. So good luck. Godspeed.
Thank you. God bless. Take care. Bye.
Thank you so much, Mark. And you can visit Marc LaHood website so you can find him and not only, volunteer, donate money, and just reach out to him and talk to him about your concerns in the community. So this is a very, very important position in Bexar County.
And for those watching, Andrea, politics is the only sport you can actually participate in. You don't have to sit in the bleachers and just clap because these candidates need your help. And I know that you're watching at home saying, well, a $10 contribution is not going to make a difference. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. If you send $5 to these candidates and help them, if you just agree to put a yard sign or a bumper sticker on your car, that helps. If you go to their campaign office and help them volunteer and block walk the neighborhood that you live in, that helps. And so every little bit helps. Everybody's got to get out of the wagon and pull the wagon in the same direction. That's how we win. así es como vamos a tener éxito, así es como vamos a ganar el partido, pero es el único juego en cual usted no tiene que ser, puede ser participante, puede contribuir, así que...
Todos somos protagonistas y el protagonismo lo obtenemos cuando salimos a votar. So October 11 is the deadline to register to vote, and then November 8 is general elections, and then 2 weeks before it's early voting. So before we go with Pastor Luis Cabrera, we're going to go to a commercial break.
When Mark gets it up.
When our producer find our commercial.
Yeah. But in the meantime, as you know, we've run a bunch of political commercials, TLC. This is because of the generosity of thousands of Texans that have been contributing to Texas Latino Conservatives. And so our job is to produce these commercials to reach the voters in Texas. And so this is one of the commercials that we've produced. Our grandparents built Texas. We power it every day. But the party that says they care about us no longer honors the work we do. They raise our taxes, drive up inflation, give us handouts, and expect us to be grateful. Now, you have a choice. Alex Mueller will honor our work, lower our taxes, and clean up corruption. Learn more about Alex Mueller. Visit TexasLatinoConservatives.com.
Learn more about Alex Miller, but also you have a great news today
about
Alex Miller.
Yeah, so we have a hotly contested race for county judge in Harris County. As you know, the county judge really is not a judge. It's an old historic title that's been kept over the years in Texas politics. But we have a county judge who, put her name on the ballot 4 years ago, and serendipitously,
she
got
lucky.
elected.
She got lucky.
It's like winning the lotto, right?
I mean, like anybody will run for that position. Anybody. Just think about whoever. My mom, whoever.
Yeah.
And you will win.
And
back in that time.
Yeah. So what happened is there was a wave in 2018. We all know. I'm not going to get into the reasons why, but she was swept in, absolutely clueless. Absolutely clueless. And for 4 years, she has converted Harris County, which used to be the shining star in Texas. Our budget was under control. Our budget was in the black. We had gotten out of debt. We didn't issue tax anticipation notes. Our criminal justice system was humming along. Crime was down. Roads were being built. Bridges were being maintained. Infrastructure was being taken care of. All of that has come crumbling down, and if that weren't enough, we have a major freeway expansion that's been financed by the Federal Transportation Administration and Texas Department of Transportation. Millions of dollars have been dedicated to this project to help urban congestion in Houston, and she has torpedoed that. And so, unfortunately for her, she is under a lot of stress. In fact, Lena checked herself into the hospital the other day. She refuses to debate Alex Mueller, who is the Republican nominee and challenger. And now, today, we have polling that indicates that Alex Mueller is 4 points ahead. Now, that's good news.
That's good news.
But we don't need, exactly. But what?
But let's not just rely on that. We need to go and vote because the polls can say whatever. But if we don't go and vote and we don't register to vote, which is the first thing that we need to do to vote, to participate, which is October 11 is the deadline. So it is few days ahead for that. So nothing is going to happen. So it depends on all of us, that something change and something happened here in Harris County.
So we're proud of Alex for the hard work. As you know, she has a young family. She has 2 beautiful children. Her husband is, full-time in this and probably taking care of the kids. Alex has been on the road campaigning, which is a real stressful situation for the family. She hasn't checked herself into the hospital. She's willing to debate. She has a plan to change the criminal justice system in Harris County, to end corruption, and to get this budget back on track so it serves the people of Houston. She will not be offering multi-million-dollar contracts to her buddies. In fact, our current county judge is on the precipice of being indicted. 4 of her staff members have been indicted for the corruption in her office. The Democrats are just running amok in Harris County. And so we've got to put an end to that. But as Andrea says, you have to vote. Y para los que hablan español y están preocupados con la situación, especialmente la situación con los crímenes en este condado, ustedes tienen que inscribirse a votar. Andrea les va a dar las fechas en cual ustedes, ¿hasta qué día se pueden inscribir?
Octubre 11 es la fecha límite para poderse inscribir para votar y recuerden que las elecciones son noviembre 8, pero nunca esperen para el día de las elecciones. Aquí tenemos el privilegio de tener votaciones anticipadas y podemos hacerlo 2 semanas antes. Eso es bien importante. Cualquier día, en cualquier lugar, usted puede ir a votar pero lo más importante, regístrese, porque si usted no está registrado para votar, y a veces creemos, Orlando, que por el hecho de que somos ciudadanos americanos o nos convertimos en ciudadanos americanos, inmediatamente podemos ir a votar, porque lo he visto muchas veces en mi tiempo que cubría elecciones, cuando trabajaba de reportera, mucha gente decía, pero si yo tengo mi licencia de conducir, ¿por qué no puedo votar? Porque necesitas registrarte. Es bien importante entender el sistema de elecciones, el sistema político de este país y no solamente de este país, de cada condado y de cada estado, porque también diferencia de cada estado y de cada condado.
Sí, es fácil, pero la razón por cual nosotros tenemos que inscribirnos para votar es para que el condado sepa quiénes son los votantes, para para asegurarle al público que las elecciones son legítimas, ¿no?
Correcto.
Porque cualquiera no puede venir a votar y si no paga impuestos, no es ciudadano norteamericano, ese privilegio no se le extiende a usted. Así que el condado tiene que saber quién son los votantes. Inscribirse es fácil, puede hacerlo, ir a una página que se llama Harris Votes, y ahí puede pedir o hacer, descargar la planilla.
Se lo puedes hacer en línea, lo puedes hacer
bueno, no, hay que firmarlo, puedes hacerlo por Mac, you can type it in, but you have to sign it and mail it in.
Entonces lo tienes que mandar por...
O fax it in. Pero
fax
es fácil hacerlo. Así que háganlo para que puedan votar este noviembre. Es importante. Y la voz de nuestra comunidad tiene que ser escuchada en las elecciones. Si tienen preguntas, por favor, comuníquense con nosotros. Con mucho gusto los ayudamos.
Así es. Y ahora sí, now we're going to introduce our next guest.
Team member.
Next guest and team member. And we are not only honored, but it's so an exciting moment for Texas Latino Conservatives that we are expanding and many more things coming up next year.
Did you ever have, when we started Texas Latino Conservatives, really started it about 2 years ago, did you have any idea that it would grow to be what it is in Texas?
I knew we had potential. I knew.
You knew, yeah.
I knew we had potential because, of course, you were leading this. And
well, I have a lot of good help.
Yeah, you were leading this, and we had an amazing team that we put together on your last campaign. And it was, we started this show, and it was very organic and very artesanal, let's put it that way. We started, and we had a lot of people engaging with us. So I knew it had potential, but what I didn't know, it was that how fast and how professional it was gonna grow and it was gonna become, and the amazing team that we put together. Not only that we put together an amazing team, the original team, but the people that start adding after that.
And the people that continue. I was at Texas Public Policy Foundation on what they called a charla on the Hispanic state in Texas. And it was live streamed. And after the program, I got contacted by a young lady who used to be a television producer for the news from El Paso. And I met with her in Austin yesterday. Just fabulous. Just the quality of people that are tuning in, listening to the message, and wanting to volunteer. And so let's not delay that. Talking about quality people, we had the pleasure of meeting Pastor Luis Cabrera down in the Rio Grande Valley in the Harlingen area. In fact, I think that's where his church is. But we met him when Mayra Flores, the young lady born in Mexico, naturalized U.S. citizen, elected to the U.S. Congress, first Mexican native born to be elected to the U.S. Congress. Luis Cabrera, born in Nicaragua, is now a Texan and leading the charge in South Texas. And I said, I got to get a hold of this guy and ask him how we can rally pastors and the evangelical Christian community in Texas and round them up to go vote. So, Luis, welcome to the program. Welcome to the team.
And welcome to Texas Latino Conservatives.
Is Luis
Hello,
on?
hello to both of you.
There
Thank you
are.
so much for having me on. It's a yes. Can you hear me?
Yep, hear you fine.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I want to thank both of you for having me on. And it's a great privilege and honor to be under TLC and to extend like a branch under TLC in this pastors coalition. And I'm excited, Orlando. I know that God has opened these doors for a reason, and who knew, like you guys were talking earlier, who knew that one day TLC will be as big as this today? And I never knew 2 years ago, me being involved in politics, that this door would be open up for me as well too. And then of course with the Congresswoman Myra Flores and Cassie Garcia, Monica de la Cruz, and I know these individuals personally. I counsel them. I send them scriptures. I'm there for them spiritually and always pray for them. And so it's a great honor to lead this Texas Latino Conservative pastors and just to rally pastors from all over Texas. And so I'm very excited.
Now, Luis, I'm going to tell you, your video is frozen. So one option we can offer you is to log out and then log back in. Yeah. And Andrea and I will fill the time talking about this.
Because we can hear you, but we cannot see you properly.
We hear you fine, but we need to see you. So log out and log back in.
Yeah.
So,
he's back? Okay, now he's back. Oh,
well. Okay, he'll be back.
We'll be back.
Anyway, this is the beauty, right, of technology. We have people
but
across
that happened
the state
when you're
of Texas.
live. That happened when you're live.
It's okay. It's okay. But anyway, and I'm going to ask Luis when he comes back the importance of having the Christian voice. And it doesn't have to be the Christian voice. It can be a Muslim voice. There's great Muslims in this country. There's great Jews in this country. There are passionate Jewish people that love the Constitution, love what we stand for. And so we all need to unite. But the fact that the left wants to squelch every voice, every spiritual voice in this state is not going to be tolerated. So Luis is back. Mark, is he on? Do we have
Hello.
Okay, now
perfect. Now we can see you.
Andrea and I were talking about, Luis, the left in this country, and especially in Texas, wants to squelch, wants to silence the vote of churches. And I say churches, not only the Christian church, but they want to squelch Muslims and Jews and non-believers and, the Latter-day Saints. And, if you're spiritual in any way, they don't want to hear about it. The left has an agenda, and it doesn't jive with what you are doing on the ground and what the pastors across Texas are doing. So is there a need for the voice of pastors in civic activities of the state of Texas?
Oh, Orlando, you better believe it. That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm kind of like waking up the sleeping giant of not only pastors, but just, Christians in general. We all pay taxes. We all have a voice. And so we got to come together under the umbrella of being Christians, and pastors come together and just imagine the voice and the impact that we can have on everything that we do together as one body. And so, it's a great opportunity to rally these pastors and to tell them that they have a voice. And the problem is that we haven't been using that voice at all. In 2020, I believe 23 million Christians did not vote. I mean, that's a huge problem. 23 million Christians did not vote. And these are the same people today that are complaining about high gas prices and high grocery bills. And so, but now if we come together and rally these voices to vote for people that have our values and our morals, that's all we want to do. That's all I want to do is come together and bring these pastors and these Christians on board and saying, guys, let's vote for people that have our views and our morals and our principles. It's not hard. And so, I'm kind of like making them aware, how valuable their voice is. So that's all I'm doing.
Pastor, sometimes, people will say like, what it has to do church with politics, but why is important to put these two elements together?
Well, because hello, number one, we live in this great country, and we have, and we all pay taxes, regardless if you're a 501c3. Individually, we all pay taxes. When we go to the store and I go buy food, we all pay taxes. So we have a voice in this great country, and this country was founded under Judeo-Christian values. I mean, our forefathers were Christian people, and so when we understand the foundation of this country, then we can begin to think and say, you know what, hold on, this country was great at one point. Like, what happened? Like, our forefathers gave us the greatest gift of all, to vote.
Mhm.
We the people, and we're not doing that. And so when a church does not voice their values and morals and not elect God-fearing people into office, that's why we have the condition of this country today. And so if we come together again and vote for people that have our values and morals, I mean, this is how we kind of shift the country back in a direction where we want them to go. But again, we got to come together as Christians and as pastors, as a church, to come and fight for this country, because I love this country. I came here from another country, and I have two beautiful children. I got a beautiful wife. And what kind of country, guys, are they going to have if we don't fight today for this country?
Pastor, it's an important message, pero quiero saber si para los que no hablan inglés, porque nos han comentado que quieren que
Que quieren
hablemos
que hablemos un poco en
de
español,
español.
sí.
Repite lo que acabas de decir en español para los que no entienden por qué es importante que la iglesia cristiana se involucre en el proceso cívico. Quiere decir que salgan a votar.
Sí, es muy importante porque todos pagamos taxes, todos nosotros, usted y yo, cuando vamos a las tiendas, compramos cosas, pagamos taxes. So, si pagamos taxes, tenemos una voz y no lo hemos usado. Y es tiempo para reunir todas las iglesias y todos los pastores debajo de la bandera de ser cristianos, y votar para gente que tiene nuestros valores y morales, porque estamos viviendo en un tiempo bien difícil como una nación y como comunidad, y necesitamos juntarlos juntos y ir a votar por gente que tiene nuestros valores, y no hemos hecho eso. Ese es el problema, Orlando, que no, tenemos bastante cristianos que no votan. En 2020, 23 millones de cristianos no votaron. 23 millones, eso es un gran problema.
Pastor, usted dijo algo bien importante. Usted es inmigrante, viene de otro país, Orlando
Sí.
también, yo también. Somos ciudadanos naturalizados. Ya vivimos en este país, no solamente pagamos impuestos, pero somos parte de este país. Dijo, tengo 2 hijos, yo también tengo 2 hijos. Orlando también tiene una hija que nacieron ya aquí. Son una generación que ya nacieron en este país, pero son la generación que viene de inmigrantes como nosotros. Pero este país nos ha dado tanto.
Sí.
Unas oportunidades que yo creo que no las tendríamos en nuestro propio país, y tenemos tanto que agradecerle a este país. Y si no somos nosotros los que tratamos de hacer algo, de salvar las próximas generaciones y este país, entonces, ¿quién lo va a hacer? Así que por eso es importante hacer sentir y sonar nuestra voz, y la única forma de hacerlo no es gritando, porque el mejor grito es votando. Ese es el único grito que tenemos y la única voz que tenemos, votando. Porque si no salimos a votar y no participamos y no entendemos la importancia de participar en la política de este país a nivel local, de condado, estatal y federal, entonces no sé qué vamos a hacer. Así que por eso qué importante es lo que estamos haciendo ahora, no solamente con Texas Latino Conservatives, pero ahora con esta extensión, con usted liderando los pastores, las iglesias no solamente del sur de Texas, pero de todo Texas, porque ya sabemos que hay un plan para que se extienda esto a todos los pastores a nivel estatal. Y quiero que cuentes esto en inglés y en español. ¿De qué se trata TLCP? Texas Latino Conservatives Pastors, o los pastores de los conservadores latinos tejanos.
Sí, el proyecto de nosotros es unir pastores latinos de todo Texas y juntarlos cada mes en diferentes áreas de todo el estado de Texas, y juntarlos y platicar. y en discutir cosas que afecta a nosotros y a nuestros miembros. Todo, como ahorita que está pasando, todos los precios de las compras se han subido
Mhm.
bastante. Ayer fui a una tienda y compré una cosa ahí en Walgreens, un bote de ketchup, de Heinz ketchup, y me costó $7.46.
Wow.
Una botella de ketchup.
Wow.
So, ese es un gran problema. I mean, ahorita todo se ha subido, todo, las taxes, compras. Y es el problema que hizo con este programa, que estamos levantando, y ya está levantado, es unir a estos pastores y para que ellos sepan que tienen una voz que no
Mhm.
lo hemos usado. Y
Correct.
so, en inglés, the whole thing about TLCP is to gather pastors all, and especially Latino pastors all over Texas to to form a coalition of like-minded believers to fight for this state and to fight for this country, and to educate them, give them resources, and give them everything that they need in their fingertips so they can understand that they have a voice and we have a voice. If we come together under that umbrella, that we have a voice. I mean, I just saw from the Houston Chronicle last month that the Latinos are now the majority in Texas. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, that's correct.
Oh yeah.
So
We're
now
no
we are the
minority
majority.
anymore. We're no
Yeah,
minority anymore.
exactly. You know what? One thing about Latinos, Orlando, and we love having babies. We
Oh yeah.
literally love having babies. So we love growing our families, but the thing about this is that we also have values. We also have morals. We have principles. And the Latino culture, you both know, Andrea and Orlando, that we have values. We love God. We love country. And so, this new program, TLCP, is going to rally around these Latino pastors, and I'm going to kind of just help them to establish, our principles and our morals and what we want to do as a church here in Texas, and just our voice. Like, we have a powerful voice that we have yet to use. Imagine the impact of the Latino pastors just here in Texas alone. Even here in South Texas, you saw it firsthand. I mean, Myra's special election. I mean, that was a great victory. I mean, it was wild. But you know what? We have a bigger one, a bigger fight, November 8th. And we understand that, work is not going to stop even after November. Our job, we have a short-term plan and then a long-term plan. And so I know it's going to be a lot of work. I got a great team that's backing me up. And you know what? They're working from Houston all the way down here to South Texas, and we're gonna just be on the ground running. And as we speak, we got meetings here in South Texas, Brownsville, McAllen, Laredo, Corpus, and these next 4 weeks. So we're excited to get the ball rolling and to gather these pastors and to just give them everything that they need possible, all the resources
I also want to give a
to.
shout out to one of our friends, Dave Welch, who heads up Texas Pastor Council.
Yes,
I've known Dave
yes.
for decades, actually, since I've been in public office. Flies below the radar, very, very quiet, but very quick to be energized when his values are being challenged by a minority of people and they're trying to shove it down his throat. He's been very active in Houston, very active in Harris County. But the amalgamation, that's an important word, the amalgamation of Luis Cabrera and Dave Welch with Texas Latino Conservative pastors and the Texas Pastor Council is going to be dynamic in this state, and we're looking forward to that. Now, I want to talk to you about the importance of having the evangelical Christian voice in civics, in politics, because a lot of people and a lot of our pastors, Luis, think that they can't be involved in civics, that they can't talk about voting, that they can't even say that they like a particular candidate. That's not true. The church in this country has a constitutional right. It has a voice and it has free speech. So let me correct that. Yes, there are tax implications if you engage in political activity, but that's not what the church does. If the church was running ads for Maida Flores and for Orlando Sanchez and for Alex Mueller, that's a different thing. But the church has a constitutional right to speak up like any other organization. Now, here's the deal, and I'm going to give you a little history, Andrea, and you can translate this and repeat it if I fail to get the point across in Spanish. When this country was being formed, the mission of this country was to provide freedom and liberty to every individual in the country, the 13 original colonies that became states. We had a constitutional convention to approve the Constitution. The purpose of that was to provide liberty, but more important is to achieve justice, justicia. That is the end of government, is to provide justice for its citizens. And one of the concerns that the Founding Fathers was, how do we protect the minority from the tyranny of the majority? In other words, we don't want to let the majority run over the constitutional rights of the minority.
Yeah.
And that's beautiful in American politics because we do that with our Bill of Rights, the amendments to the Constitution. It's worked well, and that's why the left wants to destroy that. But here's the problem today, Luis. It's tyranny of the minority. The minority wants to dictate to us, the majority, of how to live our life, what values we need to espouse, brought in with their partner in crime, which is those in charge of the federal government right now, the liberal left in this country. The left is in charge. And so I want to share some personal, because this really bothers me. Yesterday, I go to the doctor for an annual checkup, and they're asking me what my sex is, what are my pronouns, do I want to be referred to as a male, a female, binary? I mean, all this crap, and I'm thinking to myself, when did medicine come off the rails? Can a doctor not know that the patient is a male or a female?
Well,
Wait, are you kidding me? So when I was answering the questionnaire, I just put, I don't know. Maybe the doctor can tell me if I'm a male or a female. I mean, this is how ridiculous it is. The minority is telling the majority, because all of this happens, Luis, because our schools have been infiltrated by the extreme left.
Yeah.
So children are confused if they're binary, non-binary, if they're it, if they're him, if they're her, if they're, whatever. Kids are confused. That's just crazy. I mean, the idea that the minority in this country is tyrannically, causing these problems for us, and the church and we folks that value the traditional values are just quiet, taking it. Then not only did they infiltrate our public schools, they went to universities. So you ask yourself, where do doctors now get confused on the sex of the patient? Because the liberal left has infiltrated universities, medical schools, and worse, they've infiltrated the corporate boardrooms in this country. Why do 360 million people have to be dictated to by a population of, let's say, 5 million? Answer that to me. It's because we have taken it. We've sat down. We've been quiet.
Yeah.
They've indoctrinated our children.
We haven't said anything.
They infiltrated
enough.
Hollywood. They infiltrated the editorial boardroom. They infiltrated education. And it's time que nos levantamos, que nos ponemos los pantalones bien y hacer batalla porque vamos a perder este país. That's my editorial comment, Luis.
No, I mean, Orlando, you're speaking my language. I mean, that's the day that we're living in today, and that's why I'm fighting this fight, because of my children. I mean, I think about it. Reverend David Welch. The fight that you guys had there in Harris County about that liberal mayor. That made it, that approved an ordinance for men to go in women's restrooms. I mean, think about that. I got an 8-year-old little girl. Imagine her in the restroom in a public place, and a man walks in there. I mean, think about that. The days that we're living in. And I said, Lord, you know what? If I still have breath in my lungs, I'm going to stand up, especially as a pastor, because I have every right to, not only biblically to stand up, but more now as a citizen of this great country, and because of our forefathers. And so, and talking about all that, Orlando, I mean, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing today, because it's time for the church to say enough is enough. It's time for us to stand up, to rise up and speak up, and not only share from the pulpits why it's time to speak up. And it's funny because Orlando, and that article that came out, that documentary that came out between me and Myra Flores, Congresswoman, they were accusing me of indoctrinating my congregants, and I'm like, the
That's your
very thing that
job
they're
to educate them. Not in. I
I
mean,
mean,
give me a break.
okay, exactly. So it just shows you the sick world that we live in today, and
See, the
that's why
problem.
You
we have
just
to be
said you
The,
just said it right.
but
Sick.
the problem is
yeah,
they want us to leave our values at the doorstep,
yeah,
but we have to have their values crammed down our
exactly.
throats and our children's
No,
throats.
what values?
Ain't,
They
ain't,
don't have values.
exactly. Ain't gonna happen. Ain't
Nope.
gonna happen. I'm sorry. And that's not to say that we're against homosexuals, transgendered people,
Yeah,
people that, whatever they want. This is a free country. If you're a male and you want to identify as a female, great.
go ahead.
But don't put the majority at risk. Don't put our children at risk. Don't make our children defecate and urinate, next our little girls or our little boys next to other people that it's just a disorder. It's no,
Sick.
I'm
It's
not saying they're
confusing.
sick.
Yeah.
It's a our country is about order, and and
Yes.
and and we can't let the minority, the tyrannical minority, overrun the majority. I mean, it's not going to happen.
That's what's been going on, for years now. And the sad part about it, Orlando and Andrea, is that the church has been silent.
Yeah.
Why has the church been silent on these issues? Why can't we talk about these moral issues that plague our country today from our pulpits? Why not? We have every right to, because number one, we are God-fearing people, and we can't let these people come
I'll
in
tell
to
you why.
destroy.
I'll tell you why,
But
Pastor. Because te cancelan. You'll be canceled,
Yeah,
right?
that's
but
it.
also it has to go. It had to be this far. It had to go that bad
Yes.
that for us or for the church or for the groups, the conservative group, to wake up, because we're being quiet and we're not saying anything. We let it happen. We let it happen. But I mean, something had to happen for us to say, like, okay, enough. That's it. So it has to, I mean, everything is a domino effect. It has to be this far and this bad and this sick, because to me it's sick for us
Yeah.
or for the church or for now groups like Texas Latino Conservatives, Alliance with Pastors, to say, that's it. Enough is enough. We need to do something. Y como dices tú, ponernos los pantalones,
Así es.
ponernos la falda, los pantalones.
or as they say in Texas, put on your boots. Hey, we're out of
Exacto.
time, Luis. Look, we're happy to have you on the team. We look forward to
Thank you
seeing
so
you in
much.
Houston. We look forward to the great
Yes.
work you're going to do across 254 counties in the state of Texas.
Call to
Oh, a lot
action.
of work.
How we can help you?
Well,
How we can help you, Pastor? How we can tell people to help not only Texas Latino Conservative, but now this new branch with you, TLCP.
Yeah, it's basically communication. Since we're very launching this branch out and this program, there's gonna be a lot of just a lot of moving parts to this, but for they can definitely go to our website, the TLC website. There's gonna be our own website coming up pretty soon, and my own email. And Pastor, if you're listening to me, if you're watching, if you want to be connected with TLCP, si usted se quiere conectar con nosotros, por favor vaya a la página de website de TLC, y ahí vamos a estar, ahí va a estar mi información. I look forward to working with all the pastors, especially all the Latino pastors here in Texas.
all right, Luis. Thank you. God bless. Take care, and we'll see you soon. Okay, Andrea.
Muchas
Bueno,
gracias,
vamos a
Pastor.
despedirnos.
Bye.
No, todavía no nos vamos a despedir
¿Por
porque
qué?
necesitamos anunciar.
Es verdad.
Si usted que nos está viendo ya es elegible para hacerse ciudadano americano,
Quiere decir que tienen que tener su tarjeta verde, lo que es la tarjeta de residencia.
la green card,
La
ajá.
green card.
Si usted
Que
ya
yo no sé
es
si is it still green?
it's never been green.
Yeah, no, it used to be green.
It used to?
Yeah.
Well, not in my time.
Okay.
Not in
Bueno,
my time.
pero todavía le dicen
But
green
probably
card.
it was green before. Yeah, that's why they were like green card.
Okay.
Pero si ya usted es residente por más de 5 años, bueno, dependiendo, cada situación es diferente, pero si usted ya es residente y es elegible para hacerse ciudadano americano, bueno, le tengo información, así que súper, súper, súper pendiente a esta gráfica que le vamos a poner. Just pay attention to this graphic that we're going to have right now in our program, because RNC, the Republican National Committee, is launching 4 different classes for becoming U.S. citizenship classes, totally at no cost. So, meaning free, totally free. Here in Houston, 4 different classes. So, you're going to see all the information in the graphic. Let me have my glasses to read you. It's going to be October 11, October 13, and October 18. Oh, well, it's 3 classes. I thought it was 4. So, October 11, 13, and 18. So next week at the RNC Hispanic Community Center. The address is 614 Southwest Side Drive, Suite 301A, Houston, Texas 77011. If you want to contact them, the contact person is Marcela Ortiz, 713-240-1494. Marcela Ortiz, 713-240-1494. So very important, totally free, U.S. citizen classes. U.S. citizen classes for free.
Pero dilo en español.
Bueno, totalmente gratis. Las clases de ciudadanía son 3 clases la próxima semana en el Centro Comunitario del Comité Nacional Republicano. Así que bien importante, aquí en Houston, Texas. Pero esto es apenas la segunda vez que de este programa de iniciativa de ciudadanía que tiene el RNC o el Comité Nacional Republicano. Lo empezó en Florida, ahora lo continúa aquí en Houston, también con el apoyo de Texas Latino Conservatives. Así que tome ventaja de esto porque es muy importante hacerse ciudadano americano. Hay por lo menos 9 millones de personas que ya son elegibles para hacerse ciudadanos americanos y no lo han hecho.
La mayoría mujeres.
La mayoría mujeres, exacto. Así que bien importante hacerte ciudadano americano, no solamente por todos los beneficios que nos trae la ciudadanía norteamericana, pero además porque nos da el derecho a votar, a ejercer ese privilegio que tenemos de elegir quiénes van a ser los que van a dirigir este país, esta ciudad, este condado, porque ellos son los que nos están representando, pero nosotros somos los que los ponemos ahí o los quitamos de ahí. Así que bien importante que asistan a estas clases de ciudadanía. Recuerda, son la próxima semana, octubre 18, 13 y 11. Así que totalmente gratis, regístrese, vaya, asista. Esto es en las horas de la noche por si usted tiene que trabajar todo el día, pero esté súper pendiente de nuestras redes sociales porque ahí está toda la información. También, no sé si en la página web de nosotros de TLC está.
Yo creo que sí, pero vamos a ver.
Pero si no, seguro en nuestras redes sociales. Yo también lo voy a poner en mis redes sociales de Andrea Gómez News en Instagram, Andrea Gómez TV en Facebook. Así que esté súper pendiente. Pero cualquier cosa, escríbanos en Texas Latino Conservatives. Vaya a nuestra página de internet, texaslatinoconservatives.com, texaslatinoconservatives.com. And just, contact us for any of these special events that is coming up. We are alliance with the Republican National Committee for these classes, and we're supporting them. And this is very important, Orlando, to become a U.S. citizen. I remember the day that I became U.S. citizen, and that was one of the greatest days of my life. And now, since then, I've been voting every single elections.
You mean to tell me those racist, immigrant-hating, conservative Republicans are hosting a citizenship class?
Imagine, and for free.
Well, imagine that. Anyway, yeah, if you know someone that is eligible to become a U.S. citizen, these are classes that only take 3 days. You will be completely prepared to take your examination to become a U.S. citizen. It's free, no cost, materials, classroom, everything is provided for. Go to our website, download the form, and share it with anyone you know. You don't have to be Hispanic. You can be British. You can be from Africa. You can be from Germany. Come to our classes, sponsored by the Republican National Committee, and in less than 3 days, you'll be prepared to pass the citizenship test.
And they're going to give you a certificate. So very important.
All right.
So now we're saying bye to the show. And we're going to
No,
see
we're
you guys.
saying bye to our listeners and viewers.
Yes.
Not to the show. The show will be back next week.
Well, bye to the show today. And our viewers. But we're going to see you next Wednesday. Nos vemos el próximo miércoles. But we're going to leave you guys with the story that it was run by KHOU, by Latino reporter.
Yeah.
Latino reporter.
Colombian at that.
And it's the son of a Colombian mom.
Colombian heritage.
Correcto.
But it features somebody kind of important, right?
Very, very important. Mr. Big O talking about the Latino vote. So we leave you with that story.
Bye, guys.
And we are about 24 hours away from the first and only scheduled debate between Governor Greg Abbott and Democratic candidate Beto O'Rourke. That debate is happening in Edinburgh in the Rio Grande Valley. A lot is on the line tomorrow for the candidates.
Yes, it is. Both O'Rourke and the governor especially are trying to win over Hispanic voters. Our Marcelino Benito live at the border tonight with a closer look at what impact Hispanic voters could have come November. Marcelino?
Well, and the impact is expected to be huge. That's because Latinos, for the very first time, outnumber whites here in the state of Texas. And here in the Rio Grande Valley, where we are tonight, Republicans are quickly proving they're learning how to pull away more Hispanic voters. As Texas braces for Election Day, all eyes are on Latino voters.
We hold a lot of political power if our people will come out and vote.
And the campaigns know it. It's why Beto O'Rourke is hosting Latino voter rallies.
Soy latina y necesito que se me escuche en mi idioma. Gracias, Beto. Sí se puede, sí se puede.
In Houston's historic Hispanic neighborhoods, answering questions in Spanish.
También nuestros hijos y hijas.
And it's why Governor Greg Abbott is spending record amounts of money.
Beto se alinea con grupos que apoyan desfinanciar a la policía.
Roughly $5 million on Spanish language ads.
Yo estoy votando por Beto.
O'Rourke spending $3 million for Spanish media ad buys of his own.
You cannot win an election without support from the Latino vote.
Political scientist at the University of Houston, Geronimo Cortina, says the Latino vote is more important than ever. For the first time, census estimates the Latino population is greater than the white non-Latino population in Texas. More than 1 million new voters have registered in this state. A growing number of them are young and Hispanic, but that's no guarantee they'll vote Democratic.
We don't know how they behave. We don't know how they vote.
How they end up voting could be decisive.
Either party, if they don't know how to message and how to reach this burgeoning Hispanic population, is going to be on the losing end of elections.
Orlando Sanchez formed Texas Latino Conservatives, a group aimed at increasing Hispanic turnout for Republicans.
I think the Democrats have made a huge mistake. Democrats, like Republicans, assume the Hispanic population is monolithic. We're all the same. We're not. We are as diverse as America.
And that includes how they vote?
Includes how they vote, and we're seeing that.
Latino voters have shown they can vote for either party, and the GOP has made major inroads in Texas border communities. This summer, Republican Mayra Flores became the first Mexican-born congresswoman in U.S. history, winning a district no Republican had won in 150 years.
That's a watershed moment in American politics.
And it's setting the stage for perhaps the biggest battle for Hispanic voters Texas has seen in decades.
In this election, they'll be the ultimate swing group. They're going to become the biggest factor in American elections beginning this November and into the future.
Now, in her poll released last Sunday, we saw Abbott is pulling away about 39% of the Hispanic vote. Now, that's not great, but experts say it is enough to win the state. If Beto O'Rourke wants to win, he needs to beef up his numbers among Hispanic voters, and this debate tomorrow may be his last best chance to do that. We'll have a preview of that big debate night tomorrow coming up when I see you guys at 10 o'clock tonight. Back to you.
All right, it's going to be fascinating to watch. Marcelino down on the border tonight. Thank you.
Our grandparents built Texas. Adios. See y'all next week.